Welcome back to Wilderness Lite, the Ultralight float tubes. My name is Phil. Today we're going to focus on proper inflation of your Backpacker Pro Ultralight float tube. I'm going to begin by showing you what it should look like when you're all done. Inflation is fast, it's easy. The tips we're going to cover on the video today are going to make it that much quicker and easier for you. When you're all said and done, this is what it should look like. Very few wrinkles in this cover. This bladder is fully distended, it's tight against the cover. At the end of the day, you should have absolutely no water inside the cover in the bladder compartment. While you're float tubing, these wings of the bladder with optimal inflation, as you see here, will not sink in towards each other. That ensures your comfort on the water all day. It also delivers the best speed and maneuverability of your Backpacker Pro. You're going to be going fast across the water with great efficiency of your paddling, even against the wind. Besides no wrinkles in the cover, or very few, there's a couple at the ends of the wings, there may be a couple wrinkles right here. Let's use the thump test. You can tell when this is tightly, fully inflated. You can thump with your finger on the side of your float tube on your Backpacker Pro. Very distinct. You're going to get a deep drum sound. You can just tell that thing is tightly, fully inflated. The 3.6 ounce inflation pump that comes with the Backpacker Pro is ideal. Packs in nicely in your backpack. Again, 3.6 ounces, very light, highly efficient. This pumps very well. It will deliver this firm thump test result in your inflated Backpacker Pro. Most importantly, you cannot overinflate your Backpacker Pro using this lightweight double action inflation pump. So don't be cautious. Inflate it. You can pump this as hard as it will to get this past your thump test. So we've packed in. We've got our backpack. Our Backpacker Pro is inside. This backpack is filled with our food, clothing, shelter, fishing gear, stove fuel for about a 6-day journey. We typically carry our Backpacker Pro in the stuff sack inside the pack. Keep it protected from any sharp objects on the inside. And we're going to demonstrate inflation. So here it is, in the stuff sack. I'm going to go ahead and pull it out and share some tips with you on inflation. Again, inflation about 4.5 to 5 minutes on the main bladder, about 35 to 40 seconds, 45 seconds on your backrest bladder, and you're ready to go with a fully inflated Backpacker Pro. Now, you want to get it spread out. Shake it a bit, helps ensure distribution of your bladder inside the cover of your Backpacker Pro. You're going to start with the main bladder. Fill that first. And again, you want that tightly inflated for that positive thump test. This inflation valve is in this left side pocket. A couple things you want to do before you start to inflate. One, make sure that your inflation valves are fully opened. To open, they rotate counterclockwise, so you're going this way. If you're pumping against a partially closed inflation valve, it's going to be frustrating. There's going to be a lot of resistance. Same is true for your backrest bladder valve. The other thing you want to do is make sure the zippers to your bladder compartments are fully closed. You can see the one under the American flag. This one's actually partially open. And if we were to inflate that backrest bladder, that bladder could bulge through this zipper and damage it. So you want to check these, make sure they're zipped tight. The one for your main bladder compartment is on the underside on this charcoal. Make sure they're zipped. So, inflation valves fully opened, rotated counterclockwise. Both zippers for your bladder compartments fully closed. You want to go ahead, make sure you've got a length of adapter tubing on the nozzle of your double action inflation pump. Just simply attach it to your open inflation valve. Kind of steady these with your hand. I'm right-handed, so I use my left hand to maintain the connection between the pump, the adapter tubing, and the inflation valve. You just start pumping. A tip here, you'll notice all you hear is the movement of air rushing through this into inflating this bladder. What you don't hear is plastic against plastic. You don't want to bottom out this pump. It is a lightweight plastic pump. It's not bulletproof. And if you repeatedly extend this fully, you can damage the plastic and break your pump. So just stay in the sweet spot. Go ahead and pump. That's really all there is to it. Now we're going to go ahead and jump ahead about a minute to a minute and a half of pumping and show you the next step, the next tip in ensuring proper inflation of your Backpacker Pro. Okay, we're now about 2/3 full. We're going to just repeat that procedure again to ensure that the bladder is evenly distributed throughout the cover. Just go ahead and rotate this clockwise. Close it for a second. Go ahead and stand up. Take it out. Fluff it up a little bit. That gets it. Again, the bladder evenly distributed throughout the cover. The other thing is we complete the inflation here. Something you're going to notice, you can see how widely spread the tips and the wings of this Backpacker Pro. They're really not parallel. And as we complete the inflation, the pressure in the bladder is going to bring these in parallel. You'll probably notice that depending on how quickly you're pumping. But again, what you want when it's fully inflated is for those to be parallel. So they stay parallel for your comfort, speed, and performance on the water all day long in your Backpacker Pro. So we're going to finish off pumping it up here. You can see the Backpacker Pro gets quite a bit bigger, of course. So you want to pick a spot, close to a good launching spot along the shoreline, but with plenty of room for your Backpacker Pro to be fully inflated. It's good to have a spot in which there's a clear path down to the water, so you don't have to go through a lot of brush to get there. Because obviously the Backpacker Pro is going to be a lot bigger than what it was when it was in the stuff cell. So we're getting close to full inflation here. You can see wrinkles are disappearing. It's really starting to thump. Again, you cannot overinflate it. So you can use this double action inflation pump as aggressively as you like. We're going to go ahead and stop here. Go ahead and turn this valve counterclockwise. You're all set. Same thing is done with the backrest bladder. The difference being the backrest bladder is essentially for your comfort. I'd suggest you start by filling it completely and then letting a little bit of air out so that experiment with it. Because again, it's for your comfort, and the degree of filling is not essential as it is for the main bladder, which provides your buoyancy. This is truly your backrest for your comfort, so you can adjust the inflation of that backrest bladder to optimize your comfort. Next step is critical. Get the Backpacker Pro in the water, and do it now, before you rig your fly line, before you put on waders, water shoes, etc. Get the Backpacker Pro in the water, because you have just filled it with air that is at ambient temperature, and you can bet in a mountain lake that water is going to be much cooler. When this air that you've just added to your Backpacker Pro moves down to lake temperature, it's going to get soft. It won't thump. And so the plan here is to get it in the water, allow your Backpacker Pro to equilibrate to lake temperature while you're getting the rest of your gear all rigged up for your day on the water. The way that I like to do that, there's a couple different ways. Can use a net if you got a nice lanyard on your net to attach it to your Backpacker Pro, like we have on this one. This really works well. You can simply attach the lanyard on this net, loop it through the D-ring on the front here of your Backpacker Pro. Voila. You can put your net either up on the shore, you can put it in shallow water. The critical thing is that your Backpacker Pro is actually floating on the water. So that again, it's going to pick up the cold lake temperature and it's going to get a little bit soft on you. Invariably, there's going to be a couple rocks either in the water or in the shoreline, and you can simply add those to your net and you're good to go. The other alternative, you can use your stuff sack as well. Put a couple rocks in here, tie this stuff sack to that D-ring, and that will secure it to shore as well. At this point, you're ready to get rigged up, fly line, spinning gear, whatever you're using, waders, water shoes, and whatnot, to start your day of fishing. Okay, I've had my Backpacker Pro in the water for about 10 minutes. I put on my waders, gotten my fly rod all rigged up, got my water shoes on, and you can tell it's not as tightly inflated because it's gotten down to lake water temperature in a cool mountain lake, and you need to top it off to get optimal performance. I think this is one of the biggest mistakes that really can be made, is the failure to top it off. You know, you're eager to get to the water, you want to get a fly out there and land a trout. It's really critical because for the rest of the day, you're just going to be thrilled with performance by topping it off and keeping your Backpacker Pro properly inflated. So take a few moments, 30 to 50 extra pumps. Again, just simply attach it, rotate counterclockwise, go ahead and pump. You know, typically you're going to be standing in the water, a couple feet of water at your launching spot. Your Backpacker Pro is going to be tied up to shore or secured from movement using your net, your stuff sack with some rocks in it, tied to this front D-ring. And again, you're topping it off and you're really restoring it to a good thump test result with your Backpacker Pro. That's about it. Go ahead and close your inflation valve. Big difference. I mean, this is fully inflated. It's down to lake temperature, so you're really ready to launch. Take your pump with you. So again, good spot for storing your inflation pump is in the backrest pocket so that it's available throughout the day. In my fly gear, I always keep an extra length or two of the adapter tubing because if you lose that, you're going to have difficulty. You're going to have to inflate using your mouth. So keep that handy, extra one in the pockets, side pockets of my Backpacker Pro. And throughout the day, with changes in temperature, depending on what time of the day you've launched, may be warming up, depending on whether it's cloudy, what the environment's like, the degree of inflation in your Backpacker Pro may change. You may feel that you may find that you should top it off again. If you come out for an extended period of time and pull your Backpacker Pro up on shore for lunch or whatever, try and put it in the shade. That's ideal. If you got it in the sun, you may want to actually release a little bit of air. But again, inflation is fast, it's efficient, it's easy, and proper inflation will deliver excellent performance with your Backpacker Pro. Speed, maneuverability on the water, comfort fishing all day. With just these few tips, you'll find the use of your Backpacker Pro to be that much more enjoyable. Appreciate your time today. Thanks for joining us at Wilderness Lite. We look forward to seeing you again for more tips on backcountry ultralight float tubing from Wilderness Lite, the Ultralight float tubes.